name is Art, and I'm an engineer on the Phoenix Durango Railroad. Well, actually, I'm the only engineer on the Phoenix Durango Railroad. My goal with this channel is to chronicle the ongoing saga of construction and eventual operation of my HO-scale model railroad. The Phoenix Durango is a purely fictional rail line located in the southwestern U.S., and as you probably have guessed by now, is the name of my model railroad. My layout represents a section of what might have been the Phoenix Durango Road in southern Colorado as it would have operated in the mid-1950s. Let's start with a little imaginary history. The Phoenix Durango, as the name suggests, connected both the fertile valleys of central Arizona and the rich mining areas of southwestern Colorado to the ever-expanding transcontinental rail network of the 1890s. The PDRR made its living handling traffic in and out of those areas by providing service to eastern and western markets via the Atlantic and Pacific Railroad, which was soon acquired by the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe. To do this, junctions between the PDRR routes and the A&P were built in both northern Arizona and northern New Mexico and became the backbone of the PDRR well into the 20th century. Sometime later, in the first half of the 20th century, as the Denver and Rio Grande Western pushed westward into Salt Lake City and increasingly focused its priorities on being the scenic line of the world, its route south of Pueblo, Colorado became secondary in contributing to the bottom line. So to continue with our imaginary history, the Phoenix Durango somehow manages to acquire these Colorado routes from the DNRGW by promising that the significant mining and agricultural traffic from central Colorado, as well as coal from the very productive mines around Walsenburg, will continue to be funneled exclusively onto the Rio Grande main line. This fictional PDRR acquisition included the Rio Grande standard gauge line through the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, into the San Luis Valley, and on into the mining areas around Creede, Colorado. It also included the route south of Alamosa, primarily the narrow gauge line over Cumbres Pass to Durango and Silverton. This latter was especially attractive to the PDRR because a connection in Durango would provide a major expansion for the railroad, not only in track but also in sources of revenue. Having a through route connection to the remainder of the Rio Grande system, as well as to the other major rail lines coming into Pueblo, was another big plus. My layout will feature what is known as the Vida Paz Road. This is the former Rio Grande line in southern Colorado, running from Alamosa over La Vida Pass to a junction in Walsenburg, with the main line coming south from Pueblo. On the prototype, this line is single track, about 60 miles in length, and reaches an elevation of some 9,200 feet through the pass. Not unlike the prototype, this will necessitate grades over 3% on my layout, which will limit operations to short trains with multiple locomotives. Limitations which I consider attractive for my style of model railroading. The layout is basically a single-track point-to-point design anchored by the towns of Alamosa and Walsenburg. Between those two terminals, the PDRR main line passes through the smaller towns of Fort Garland and La Vida, both of which have sidings just adequate for the length trains that can be hauled over the pass. Near the summit of the pass itself, the hamlet of Fur is the location of a tight loop track for turning a helper locomotive and storing a road-range snowplow. From both terminal towns, there are tracks leading to a hidden lower level that represents all off-layout destinations. Tracks on this lower level form return loops attached to both ends of the main line and thereby provide an option for continuous running. Additional tracks on this hidden level will also be used for staging and storage. In a future video, I'll go over the current track plan in detail and explain how I believe my railroad will operate. Trains on my layout will be DCC controlled. I have a few decoder-equipped locomotives, but the majority of those I've accumulated over the last 30 years are DC only and not DCC ready. So I still have the opportunity to share my struggles on that score with you. Most turnouts on the layout will be driven by servo-based switch machines that I'll be fabricating myself. The servos in turn will be controlled by Arduino microcontrollers, which will provide a lot of flexibility in implementing the control panels. So through the channel, I plan on sharing any and all tips I may uncover on the installation and programming of these turnouts. Scenery is a long ways down the road, but it's something I'm looking forward to diving into. I suspect that I'll be experimenting with a variety of techniques to create the landforms and vegetations typical of South Central Colorado. Stay tuned for that as well. Planned future videos for the channel include at least one more on which I expand on the backstory of the Phoenix Durango and explain why it became my choice as the name of the railroad I model. Then there will be a few videos covering the design and track plan for the layout, but the real goal is for there to be periodic postings showing the current progress of actual construction. I will try to capture both my successes and failures to share with some DIY episodes, and I also might scatter in here and there several videos of a train running just to test the track work. Lastly, there may even be an occasional railfan offering if I encounter an interesting train and happen to have the camera handy. But before we charge forth into the building of the layout itself, I need to give you a little tour of the train room space in which it will all be constructed. And that will be the subject of my next video. So if any of this sounds interesting, I invite you to subscribe and follow along on the journey. Thanks for watching.